Hey guys. So today we are going to talk about solving systems of linear equations. And what a system is just more than one equation. So that's why it's plural right here. Okay, we could have one linear equation, we could have two. Well, we can't have one. We have to have two or three or four. But the good news is most of the time we're just going to be dealing with two equations at a time. Okay, and you've been graphing linear equations, y equals mx plus b. That's the form that we like to use when we graph them. And when you graph more than one line, there are three types of solutions that you can get. Okay, so the first is, let's say you graphed a line and it landed right there, and then you graphed a second line and it landed over here. The answer to a system of equations is the point where the two lines intersect or cross. And we write that answer in an ordered pair as x comma y. So the solution to a system is where the lines intersect. Okay, so remember that. So that's one type of answer we could get. Another type of answer we could get is if we graphed one line that ended up there and we graphed another line that ended up here. Where do these two lines cross? Nowhere, right? They're parallel lines. And so that system would have no solution because there aren't any places where those two lines cross. Now, the last kind of answer that we could have is if we graphed a line and then we went and graphed another line and it ended up being the same exact line. So pretend with me that I am able to actually draw over it like that. If the second line is graphed on top of the first line, that means they have every point in common that's on that line. And we know that lines are made up of infinitely many points because they have arrows on each end. They go on forever and ever and ever. So we would say that that system has infinite solutions because every point on the line is an answer. Okay? So let's graph this first one because they're both in y equals mx plus b form. So remember, we're going to graph our y-intercept first. It's where we begin. It's always on the y-axis because if you don't start on the y-axis, you can't ever get it right. So it goes down there. Now, our slope is negative 5/3. Well, Mrs. Thomas, does the negative go with the 5 or with the 3? Well, the good news is you can put it with either one. So if it was with the negative 5, we would have to go down 5 and over 3, and it would be somewhere over here. But since that's off of our graph, okay, so this went down 5 and right 3, let's put it with the bottom number. Okay, so that would tell us we go up 5 and left 3 instead. So if I go up 5 and left 3, I get a point here. And if I keep doing that, I get a point here. I hope that ends up being a straight line. So let's connect those as best that we can. And I just ran off my tablet. So let's back it up. Sometimes when you go off the tablet, then it doesn't want to work with me. So let's try that again. So I actually got pretty close to that bottom line. So that's awesome. Okay, so there is my little arrow on each end. And now we're going to go graph the other line. Okay, so let's do a different color. So if I start at positive 5, again on the y-axis, I would go up here. And this time my slope says up 1 and right 6. And if I did that again, I would be off the graph over here. So if I want to go the other direction, I go left 1, down 1, and left 6. Ding, ding, ding. There is my point where they cross or intersect. I don't want to delete it. Wonder if it'll let me keep drawing it. Oh, look, it did. Yay me. Okay, so this point is going to be my answer. And so I need to go, and get rid of my line. My bad. And I need to write down the x and y coordinates of that particular point. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it goes 6 to the left. So that's my x point. So it comes first. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So that's my y point. So this is the answer to that system of equations. All right, so I want you to go ahead and pause the video because you can graph the second equation right now because it's already in y equals mx plus b. And then I want you to put that top equation into y equals mx plus b and graph it as well and then see what the answer is. When you're done, hit play and we'll see if you're right. Okay, so if we graph this one first, I'm going to go to -5 on the y-axis because we always begin on the y-axis. And -1/2 would mean go down 1 and right 2. So I could do that a couple of different times before I end up being off the graph. And I always have my students go make their points all the way across the graph because that makes it easier to see when two things intersect. So if I put the negative with the 2, it would tell me to go up 1 and left 2. So I can do that all the way across the graph. And that's what my line would look like. And if I would connect those dots, hopefully I can make this happen right. Hold my head just right. There we go. Okay, so there's my first line. Put little arrows on the bottom of him. And now I'm going to take the 3x plus 6y equals -12, and I'm going to solve it for y. So I know that that means that I need to pull the 3x to the other side. So that would give me 6y equals, and I'm going to go ahead and write the -3x first because I like it to look like it's my equals mx plus b. And then I'm going to divide everybody by 6. So this guy actually looks like y equals -1/2 x minus 2. And what I'm noticing right away is that my slope is exactly the same as the slope of my first line. And that means those lines are going to be parallel and they're not going to have a solution because they're never going to cross. But let's go ahead and graph it. So if I put it at -2 and I go down 1 and right 2 all the way across, just to make sure that we never cross, and then I go up 1 and left 2 all the way across, we see they are in fact parallel lines, and that means there is no solution.